Wow. Wow, wow, wow. How cool is that? Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to look at Google's new Notebook LM. And I guess it's a bit of an answer to ChatGPT's custom GPTs, but it's more than that. It's a way of bringing a whole load of notes together, a whole load of documents, files, etc., bringing it together and then using AI to interrogate that information. Really useful for things like research, etc., for creating blogs, for really getting underneath the skin of a particular topic. Let's jump in. Let's have a look. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is just point you in the direction of labs.google, which is where Google release all of their sort of test data, test bits of programs. And you can, if you regularly keep an eye on this, there are different bits of software that are available that you can go through. Google Vids, AI overviews, Magic Editor, etc. Worth just keeping an eye on this for the latest bits of software out there. I'll move me over. So here you can find Notebook LM, and then if you go through, you can find other ones, music. There's one about music there, all worth trying out. Illuminate is you'll see that in Notebook LM. I'll show you how that works, but you can use it as a separate piece. But we're going to jump into Notebook LM. That's what we're interested in today, and we'll go to try it now. So if you want to go to Notebook LM direct, I'll put a link below, but it's notebooklm.google.com, and this is the site that you will see. And I've already created a couple of notebooks, but what we can do is jump in with create new. And what it does is bring you to this site here. And basically what you're doing is uploading your sources. So think of having an AI tool, but currently has no information. And what you need to do is upload your sources. So you can drag or drop files into this area. You go down a bit, you can add in documents from Google Drive, from Google Docs, from Google Slides. You can add in documents from a website. You can put a website link in there, or a YouTube link, or you can just cut and paste text. Okay, and you can have up to 50 sources. Let's find some sources, drop them in, and then start using it. So let's start adding some sources. So the first thing we've got is a YouTube video here, how to use Notebook LM for beginners. So I'm going to add that. I just copy it, pop it in, go to YouTube, paste in the URL, insert. It reads that video and it gives me a summary of it and some suggested questions that I can ask from this data. Okay, you can add here's a page from LinkedIn, and I could just add the link, but I'm just going to copy and paste the text. There we go. Copy, paste. There we go. That adds a second bit of data. And now I've got a file. This is from Google. So what I can do is just take that file, copy it, put it and go back in, add another. This one is a website. I can paste the URL. There we go. And it will read that text. And then finally, a blog here. And what I want to do is all the way up to the top to show you that you can copy and paste and add a new source. Copy text. See if this works. Insert. And yeah, it's worked. And there we go. I've put in 4 sources, but I could keep going. I could keep going until I got to 50 different sources. Once you've got your sources uploaded, then you can start interrogating those sources. Now, just on the right hand side here, I'll just show you the notebook guide. This is helpful. This will take you back to your notes. So we've got our information in there. So let's start asking it some questions. Let's start interrogating it. So we've got some suggested questions like you have in ChatGPT. So how does NotebookLM use AI to assist users in understanding and learning from multiple sources of information? So it's now drawing from all of that information, and it will give us an answer to that. So, and it will tell us which source it's used. So here we can see the different source that it's used. So that's used this source here, and it will give you the insights. And so you can, so if you think about it, if you are doing some research into a topic, and say you were doing a literature review, there's a really good example, and you pull together a whole pile of literature, and then you wanted to say, okay, from this literature, tell me what the theoretical structure is of this particular concept. Then you could do that with NotebookLM, and it would draw from that particular literature. Here you can see we asked a simple question, and it's taken information from across all of the links that I put in there, and I only put in 5. There could be loads more, and draws out the information that you want. Talks about grounding your sources, summarizing key insights, interactive question and answering, which is just what I've done, idea generation. You can generate a podcast. I'm going to show you that in a moment, and then it tells you that NotebookLM can be really useful for note taking and organizing your thoughts. Great. And then you can save this to a note, and basically you've now got a note that is part of your record with that answer in it. And if you want to go back to it, you can go back to it. See, you can just go back to it. There we go. All of that information. So you've saved that now. Now let's see what are the main limitations of NotebookLM. So again, using the information that I put in there, it's not searching the web, it's only using that information, and it gives you the main limitations. So currently there is a limitation in source formats. So you can link it to Google Docs, but not to other file systems like Microsoft 365. Hallucinations. So even though it draws all of the information, it will potentially hallucinate. And you can see at the bottom here, NotebookLM can make mistakes. So double check what's in there. There's a bit of restricted functionality right now. And I think as we see this grow, it will improve over time. It doesn't auto refresh the sources. So if the source changes, you need to take the old one out, upload it. And it will prioritize any notes you make. As of 2023, it was only available to a small group of users in the US. It's now available to everyone, and it's free. So that limitation is in there, but and comes from this text here, comes from all these sources that I put in, but we know that it's now up to date. So what I could do is add a note in. So what I've done here is write a new note that says, as of November 2024, NotebookLM is available to anyone and not restricted to a number of limited users. Okay, so I will save that. And what I might do is redo what are the limitations of Notebook. See if we get a different view on the limited availability. So it's working again. Limited source format, hallucinations, restricted chat, no source auto refresh, cannot chat with notes, but the limited availability is now gone. So I added in a note that updated it, and now the information that it draws from is better, and it's now available to everyone, and it's updated itself. So you can see that you can add in, and then you can add in documents and files, etc. And then you could say, actually, I don't agree with that. That's not right. Or I come down on the side of this particular theory, etc. And I'm discounting this theory. And you could do that, and then NotebookLM would respond to that, and that would be how it worked going forward. Okay, so this time I've said, put in the prompt, what are the key use cases for NotebookLM? Let's see what we get. So it's going to, again, it's only drawing from those 5 documents. And I would, if I was doing this in detail, I think I would fill up maybe 20 or 30 documents. But here we go. Gosh, there's a lot of them. So learning and skill acquisition. So you could, if you wanted to learn a particular skill, you could put a whole load of resources in there, and then you could ask NotebookLM to be your tutor, and it would draw from that and help you working with complex manuals and documentations. So we've all seen those massive 1,000-page manuals about things. So fancy loading that up to NotebookLM and then being able to interrogate it with just normal speech, negotiating conflict resolutions. So you could, if you were having in a negotiation, you could say a business negotiation, you could load up a whole load of documents, contracts, reports, etc., and then use NotebookLM to discuss those documents, to interrogate those documents. Genealogy and family history, really interesting. So uploading documents and photos and videos of your family, and then asking NotebookLM to put them together in a certain order, and then ask questions about specific events, etc. Managing medical and personal information. Again, think about having all of your personal information. Now, let's just be careful about that. Put all of your personal information inside NotebookLM. And then you would be able to just ask, what's my national insurance number? It will be able to tell you from all the documents you put in. Really interesting. Cooking and baking, so keeping lots of recipes, etc., and then trying to work out different uses of those recipes. That would be really cool too. Cataloging and collections, well, I guess we've already talked about that. Entertainment and pop culture analysis, website critique. So you could use NotebookLM to critique a particular website. We might try that in a moment with my blog. And creative idea generation. So uploading concepts and ideas, and then getting NotebookLM to work with those to help you with certain ideas and to be creative. If you want to start a new notebook, had enough of the NotebookLM research, we can just click here, and there's my document. You can see I had a go at it earlier, or it's something slightly differently there. But let's create new and try something different. Okay, so this time what I want to do is, it said that it could be used to do a review of your website. So I'm going to add in my blog site. Still working on it, so we'll see what it gives me. So I'm going to insert that. It's reading the site. Okay, so I've uploaded my site, and what I might do is add in my YouTube channel. So it won't allow me to do it to the channel. It only will do it to the video. So you can't add in a YouTube channel, but you can add in YouTube videos. Anyway, so what I've got is my YouTube channel. What I've got is my blog site loaded in, and I can say, what are the primary themes of the blog? And there we go. Talks about use of AI tools, AI in the future of work, effective prompting, innovations, aims to demystify AI for a broad audience. Cool. And then would the site be improved? See what we get. There's a lot that can be improved. We'll see. So it says we could expand on the how-to section, only a single video in that. Diversify content formats, introduce another formats like infographics, quizzes, downloadable cheat sheets. Probably can do that. Engage the community. So we're lacking a community discussion tab. We could certainly do that. The site navigation isn't great. I think that's true. Promote the site's uniqueness and enhance the visual appeal. Okay, so now we're going to do something quite exciting. So in this notebook, I have uploaded 45 sources. These are all academic papers effectively on intellectual property rights, foreign direct investment, China, etc. And we can see that the summary, the sources examine the relationship between intellectual property rights, IPR protection, and foreign direct investment in developing countries, particularly focusing on the use case of China. That is what my PhD was all about. And I've just uploaded a whole load of documents, and now I can interrogate those documents. Wow, I can tell you, if I'd have this available to me when I was writing my literature review for my PhD, I think I would have probably saved myself maybe 6 months of time. And think about that, nearly 6 months to get a literature review right because I'd had this. So let's have a play. So how does intellectual property rights affect foreign direct investment flows in developing countries? Now, the answer should be that, well, this is what I think the answer should be. It should say that there generally the view is that worse intellectual property rights will impact FDI. But there is an argument to say that it can work in the other way. Let's see if it's found that nuance. Okay, sources, varied perspectives, arguments supporting a positive impact of IP protection on FDI, which is the opposite of what I said is probably what most people think. And then arguments supporting a negative or ambiguous impact of IP protection on FDI. So it found both. It looked at both things and compared them critically. Really, really interesting. Really interesting. Okay, now I'm going to say, explain Dunning's OLI model to me. Can it draw out from all of those papers a discussion around the OLI model? There we go. So Dunning's OLI model: ownership, which is the O; location advantages, which is the L; internalization advantages, not internationalization, internalization advantages. So doing business with it inside an organization. Very, very cool. If I'd have had this when I was doing my PhD, as I say, it would have saved me an enormous amount of time. Okay, we're going to go for something a bit bigger here now. So write a detailed, well-referenced paper drawing on the sources titled, "What do we know about the link between IPRs and FDI?" So I wrote that paper and it was peer-reviewed and published. It took months to get it. Let's see how this is right. This is blowing my mind. Let's see what NotebookLM produces. It goes through the theoretical frameworks, product cycle theory, case studies, general equilibrium effects. Well, I would say, certainly that wouldn't be something that you could get published, but it gives you a start, it gives you a structure. And of course, if we had the structure to put in that we wanted, I think you could get something that was much closer to what you wanted. And of course, it needs checking. It needs, you would need to go through it and make sure it was right. But I promise you, this would have saved me 5 months' work. Having this tool, it's amazing. It's truly amazing. Okay, so I found out that if you run this on 100%, then you lose the top of the screen. Whereas if I've now gone to 75%, and you can see the whole screen, which is fantastic. So you get the opportunity to just put a new note in, to start again, to add a new note to this. You have the opportunity to create frequently asked questions. So let's have a look at what that produces. There we go. It has produced some frequently asked questions. Let's see what that. So what is a patent, and what does the patent owner have? Strength of intellectual property rights, FDI motivations. Really cool. Those are sensible questions. Let's go back to the notebook guide. You can have a study guide. So if you wanted to learn this information, what should you do? Just think about that. I've taken all of that literature in. Think if you were studying a course, you get all the literature given to you by your professor, and you can drop it into NotebookLM, and then you can create a study guide. And here we go. So answer each question, 2 or 3 sentences. It goes through Asian exceptionalism, and then it gives you the answers. Tells you what you what you need to do. And you can and then it gives you some essay questions and then a glossary of terms that you should learn, trips, MNCs. Very, 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 that's very cool. Just think about that. If you're doing a master's or something like that, and you've got a whole load of information to try and digest, how you could use this to help you with your learning. Not cheating, learning. There's a video about that. I'll pop that up there on the right-hand side about not cheating. Let's go back. Let's see what else you've got. Got a table of contents. See what this produces. I guess this will produce a list of all of the documents that are there. We go detailed examination of intellectual property rights. Gives you the document PDF here. What's in it? Good. If it, instead of giving you the document PDF, it gave you the title of the document. Maybe these are, yeah. This is the final document that I produced, and it hasn't given me the title. So, but it's a start. Of course, if you made all those PDFs, you change the names of them to the title of the document, then that's exactly what you would get in here. This is very exciting. Timeline, I've tried that. I know it won't give me that because this data isn't set out like that, and therefore it can't process it in that way. And then create a briefing document. So taking all 47 sources, pulling them together and putting them into a briefing document. What will that look like? How will that differ from what a literature review might look like? Main themes gives you a nice structure. Obviously, it doesn't give you enough detail, but it gives you a structure, and it's a brief. It's only a brief. And then finally, and this is very cool. This is its sort of party trick, but worth doing. You can create a conversation between two hosts. You can mess around with who those are, but basically this is going to take that information and create a podcast about my PhD, if you like. So I haven't loaded up my PhD, but I could do that, couldn't I? I could load up my PhD, it's massive, and then get them to do a podcast about it, discussing it. That will please Mrs. Professor no end. She loves hearing about my PhD, I can tell you. Not. Okay, well, it took about 5 minutes, but I now have a audio overview, and in the form of a podcast. It's 21 minutes. I'm not going to play it all, but let's have a listen to what we do have.
Welcome to our deep dive. We're going to be tackling intellectual property rights and foreign direct investment today. You've sent us a really fascinating collection of research on this, and well, the core question seems to be, how do the strengths and weaknesses of IPR in a country influence decisions made by these global companies?
Yeah.
About, where to invest and how to actually operate.
Yeah, and it's really interesting to see this question approached from so many different perspectives. We've got academic papers, economic models. We even have some real-world case studies and a bit of historical context.
Yeah, one thing that I thought was interesting right away is that these complex international business structures, they aren't exactly a new thing.
That's right. I mean, take the British East India Company, for example, back in the 19th century. That was an organization with a truly global reach, operating across continents, controlling massive amounts of resources. It shows us that, these intricate business networks have existed long before we started using terms like globalization.
Wow. Wow, wow, wow. How cool is that? Amazing. Wow. If you're doing research at any sort of serious level, NotebookLM gives you a incredible resource. I promise you, it will save you months of work and help you to get to that end point of really understanding both your data and the information that's available to you, and help you get going on writing papers, on writing your literature review, on really setting out your document. It really, really powerful. Now, don't forget, I say it all the time, that you have to be really careful about what AI produces. It will hallucinate. It will give you things that are wrong. So you have to take responsibility for what you put into it and what you get out of it. And the work that you do is yours. It's your work. So don't leave it up to the AI. You take responsibility for it. And if you're going to use this for learning, then watch this video now on how to use AI to learn and not cheat. I'll catch you soon.